Hey, what's up? Eric here. I'm a coffee person. I like doing coffee things. I'm going to talk to you today about the Fellow Opus. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about how to dial this in for espresso. So it's a pretty simple tutorial. There's not a lot to learn here, but it is important to get it right. We're going to go over dialing this in. More specifically, we're going to have two segments of this video. We're going to be dialing it in for beginner mode, and then we're going to have dialing in for advanced mode for the coffee nerds, for people who want to get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty. So there's the basics and then there's the advanced. So let's talk about this grinder just really quick. It's an all-purpose grinder. It's from Fellow. They're a pretty innovative company. They do a lot of fun things with coffee, and they made this grinder. If you're watching this video, you probably already own it. So you know it does it all. It does espresso, it does pour overs, it does French press. So it has a very large, wide swath of settings, all the way from super fine all the way to very coarse. For espresso, we're going to be talking specifically about a range, and that range is between 1 and 4-ish. If you have a 58 millimeter portafilter, start around 2. If you have a Breville or a Luca A53 or anything else with a 53 millimeter portafilter, start around 3. If you have like a DeLonghi with a 51 millimeter portafilter, is it 51? Yeah, if you have a DeLonghi with like a 51 millimeter portafilter, you're probably going to want to start closer to 4, 3.5. Anyway, so let's get into it. The basics of espresso. Almost every espresso machine out there has a basket that can handle about 18 grams to 20 grams. Some of them a little bit less, but I'm going to talk about a standard recipe. The recipe is 1 to 2. So 1 part ground coffee, 2 parts yield, and then the other factor is your time. So if you have 18 grams of ground espresso, you're going to want a yield of about double that. So that's the 2 part, 36 grams of liquid espresso. And you want to get that in between 25 to 30 seconds. That is the basic rules. There's a lot of wiggle room there, okay? It's all about how it tastes to you. There is no right or wrong. You might love a shot that runs 50 grams or 60 grams really long. You might love a shot that's super short and just super potent. A lot also has to do with the roast level of the coffee, how it tastes, the origin of the coffee. Some coffees are going to taste better a little bit longer. Some are going to taste better a little bit shorter. This is the guideline. I'll say it again. 18 grams of ground coffee in, 36 grams of liquid coffee out, in time 25 to 30 seconds. Skating over to this side. I'm not sure if I'm totally in frame, so I'm just going to like lean a little bit awkwardly. We're going to dial it in. You're going to aim finer when you want it to go slower. You're going to aim coarser when you want it to go faster. Start at 2.2 plus 1. If you need one tool in your arsenal, this is a kitchen scale. This is not a coffee scale. This is multi-use. I do a lot of baking. I have this right now. My espresso scale broke. In the market for a new one. Anyway, we're going to take our cup. Ooh, there's a little mystery coffee in there. We don't want that. Just put that in the plant. We're gonna put it on our scale, tear it out to 0. Take out some yummy beans. Shout out to Methodical. Great roaster. Boop, boop, da-da-da-doo. 18 grams, that's the goal. This little guy tends to capture a bit of coffee, tends to get a little coffee caught up in there. We're gonna do 20 grams to factor in for a little bit. It's gonna get stuck in there. And then I'm going to grind that up. I mentioned a lot of coffee does get stuck in here, sometimes up to 2 grams. I like to give, I don't want to bang on this. I don't feel like that's gonna be good for the machine long term. I'm gonna give it a little rocking, maybe a little less aggressive than what I just did. And I'm gonna do a little fake bellows. I'm gonna take the cap and I'm just gonna go boop, boop, hoping that a little air goes and pushes that grind out. So after that grind, we ended up with 20 grams, so that's good. I'm gonna take my portafilter. You're gonna wanna preheat this bad boy. You don't want a cold portafilter. You do want a dry portafilter. Tear it out, and then I'm going to use my little dosing cup here. Just gonna go flop. I want my recipe to be 18 grams. That's what I'm going for today. 20 grams. Just gonna swipe a little bit more off. Perfect, we got 18 grams. I'm gonna use my WDT tool. You do not have to. I just think that it gives you it removes those clumps, gives you a better chance of getting a better extraction. Though, I will say, Fellow does a great job of giving you espresso without a lot of clumps. If you don't have a WDT tool, shake it up, just go. If you have an espresso scale, put it on here. You're gonna put your espresso scale here, you're gonna tear it out. Also, you can also do it this way. Tear out your cup, and then we're going to run our shot. Oh no, we need a timer. Start my shots. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the timer when I see the first drop. There we go. I'm not gonna even let this run. I mean, I'm getting nothing but drippy drops. I'm gonna let this run for 25 seconds, and I'm gonna get like nothing. All right, I've seen enough. I would say if your espresso is going so slow that it's molasses, that you're getting barely nothing, you can safely jump up 2 steps. You don't need to waste your time jumping up 1 little step. You know it's so slow that you can jump up 2 steps. It's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna hop up 2 steps. So I'm 1 finer than 3. And let's see how that runs. When this timer hits 25 seconds, I'm going to stop the shot. 24, 25, boom. 32 grams, that's pretty good. But it's just a little short. That's, yeah, a little bit sharp. Actually, yeah, a little sharp, but still, drinkable. If it was me, just tasting how they tasted, 25 seconds, 32 grams, I would let that run the 30 seconds then. This is the X factor here. I would get, that's the window, 25 to 30 seconds, and I would say, that's good. Now, let's just say you aren't finding that sweet spot with these regular settings. We're in range, but it needs to be a little bit looser or a little bit finer. Just a smidge, 1 or 2 seconds. This is where you gotta crack this bad boy open. Fellow would probably recommend you unplug it when you do this. There is a little arrow on the back here, it lines up center, but you just have to turn this guy counterclockwise, pop it off, and you're gonna find there's a blue ring in here. There's a plus and minus indicator. Plus is for coarser, minus is for finer. Plus, bigger grind size, minus smaller grind size. So just think minus smaller plus bigger. You're gonna push down the ears and you're going to actually move it with this little hand, the little clicker. So I wanna go a little bit coarser. So I'm gonna go 1 notch coarser, 1 notch towards the plus, and then I'm going to put my little arrow, just gonna spin it until it falls back in, and then I'm gonna click it, and there you go. And let's do those shots again. Bump a bump. We're looking all right. 24, 5. 25 seconds to 43 grams within the wiggle room. Well, okay, yeah, that is the best shot I've made today in probably the 10 or so shots that I've run while working on this video. Okay, so there you have it. You have your basic adjustments and then you have your internal adjustments. That's it. I hope that helped. I hope that's gonna help you make good coffee. Thanks for watching, giving me those comments and likes and stuff, subscribes. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's good.